Okay. Hey guys, I hope you're all well, you're staying safe, you're keeping in contact with everybody, your friends, your family and whatnot. Yeah, welcome to the first live stream of Jake's Metal Chat. I'm gonna pretty much tell you why I'm doing it. It's because, well, Cam, I did mention in my stream, I'll just give it like a minute before I call him. Pretty much Cam from the Gregor, he's making a death metal documentary. If you've seen my, actually I didn't post, I didn't share the shout out video, but if you want to find me on YouTube, it's just type my own name and it's on there. Basically, the reason for doing this is because, so I got my tablet so I can look at what you're saying. The reason I'm doing this is because we're all stuck indoors, we got barely nothing to do. If you're on essential work and you're going out there to work and to fight this thing, and then I applaud you, I thank all the essential workers out there. You're doing an absolutely banging job, you know. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can probably see got on TV. Because, well, I was just going to do it ordinarily, I would just do it on my phone and chat through my phone. And I got my phone faced the other way because, well, it's mirrored otherwise. Yeah. Just gonna wait for a few minutes before I call him. Well, not a few minutes, but you know, enough minutes. I haven't used my tablet in a while, so I'm gonna have to probably update this rubbish. I got my window open a little bit, but if it gets too noisy, I'm closing it. I'm just drinking water for now, but got a beer for later. Well, a stout. Bought one from Mr. John Ashby. Thank you for bringing the milk stout. Really nice milk stout. I've had it before. I just got it in the fridge chilling for a bit later, or what, tomorrow. Because after this live stream, I'm talking to all the guys on the Solid Custom. And Dave's probably wondering, what the hell's this guy on? I'm on metal. That's what I'm on metal. Yeah, just checking my phone because I got a tripod for it and making sure it might be a bit slanted, so I do apologise for that. Yeah, I think this tablet's a bit crap. Just get another phone, I guess. This is my first live stream, so. And I'm just going to chat. Basically, what we're going to chat about is mainly him, like what he's done in the metal scene, what got him started in the metal scene. I know he's done it with Cam, but I'm going to ask him probably similar things and just generally have a chat. Hang on, let me just sign in back into my Facebook account on my tablet. You cannot see what I'm doing. And if there's anyone from Bristol that wants to get involved and talk to a few people, if you want to get involved, please let me know, because it'd be cool to chat to you on Facebook, yeah, on like a live stream like this. I've spoken to a few people. Okay, my tablet's been a bit of a craphead. My tablet's been a bit shit. Oh, Craig Blackman has just said, Blackburn, sorry, not Blackman, I'm thinking Steve Blackman from the WWE. How you doing, mate? Thank you for tuning in. Might have to just turn this down to get in so I can look at the chat. Yep. Oh no, I just got rid of the... yeah, I'm just looking at it on here. Oh, James is tuned in. And also Carl Willits from Memoriam, ex-Boltfur. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for tuning in. I'm just going to look at the time again. Oh, better call me in 5 minutes. David, let me know when you're ready for me to call you, and I'm most likely going to say it again, but thank you for being on the very first live stream. And just posted something on a group here called Frock Up Friday. Because I just seemed a bit weird. Yeah, I'm just watching for any comments. I'd like to say thank you again to Cam for giving me the idea for this. I wasn't going to do it like HDMI because I was like, okay, how am I doing this? I think I've got to mirror it somehow, and then lo and behold, it's right there. And plus you got to link the HDMI sound on the TV, like it there, then it's on the TV. And I have to do the reverse process when we take this off a bit later. Oh, Craig, but anytime, man. I hope you're doing very well, and this is going to be a great time. Yes, Greg, it is going to be. I'll have you for one of the other live streams. If you want to do a live stream, please say. If you want to do a live stream, we can do a live stream, or you just want to do an ordinary Zoom chat, and I can record it from there. Oh, say hello to Dave. Just checking the time. Got 3 viewers so far. That's actually really good. Not gonna. This is as far as I'm going to copy Cam. I'm not. And I'm just looking at it now, and I think I might have to go back just a tad. Hang on. Maybe just move it across here. This is all new to me, folks. So please be patient. Ben Johnson, how you doing? They can't. Might have to move it back a bit, just looking at the chats and seeing what I've done already. Got to call me in 3 minutes. Comrade, thank you for tuning in. Oh, shame from Donker Knuffle. Just thought I'd give that a pause because I was like, I would have just called you Ultra Pennywise. Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat and also looking at what's already been done. May have to change it a bit again when he comes on. Still 3 minutes, hang on a minute. Again, it's all new to me, so don't be like, oh, you can't do it right. It's like, well, I'm trying my best. Alright, Eddie Whitley, how you doing? I think that's a good enough one. And plus it gives me enough room to go get stuff to show him if he wants to look at stuff. Matt Francis has just tuned in. Alright, I just seen on the thing when I got light. 2 minutes. I'll just message him quickly. You're going to see what I'm messaging him anyway. Yeah, I was just telling him that I didn't know, should I just start straight at 6 or should I start like 10 minutes before? Or a minute before. And I was like, man, I'm all over the place because this is new to me. And he said, it's all good, it happens. Which it does. It's probably like that for Cam when he did it the first time. Tom Davies! How you doing, buddy? We need to meet up after this. And also sort out a Bloodstock group chat either here on Facebook or Zoom. Or however you decide. Why we decide, I don't know. Hang on. It's a bit untidy. And I don't think anyone's going to care about appearances. With Tom and my mate Josh from school. How you doing? So, I'll say again, just tuned in. I'm doing this so I can keep in contact, so I can talk to people within the metal scene, either here in the UK, America, Canada, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Germany, wherever I got mates from in the world of metal. I'm going to phone them in a minute. I might have to remind, tell them like not to have the volume up on something else so then it doesn't echo. Dave, alright, better call you now. I'm going to call him now. See where he's at. Oh, it's loading. Hello, David. How are you doing, buddy?
Good, Jake. How are you?
Good. I'm a bit hot because it's like 20 odd degrees here at the moment. It's
It's been pretty awful here in the States too. Last couple of days.
how hot is it?
I think we reached. Well, I know our degrees are what, your Celsius or Fahrenheit. I don't know.
We do Celsius here.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, like when we were overseas last time, I was like the liters and the meters. I'm oblivious to it, but I'm getting better at it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Like the death hoodie, by the way. Your death hoodie. I like your death hoodie.
What was that?
Your death hoodie. I think it's accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, deaf.
Yes, I'm sorry. My fault. I'm a little hard of hearing too.
Yeah, you did say in Cam's interview you're a bit hard of hearing.
Yeah.
So I'll try and speak up as best as I can.
No worries, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just thought I'd do, because Cam gave me the idea for this series. I might have to turn my TV down a little bit to do this. Because I spoke to him a while back about this. And he said, oh, do you ever do interviews on your YouTube channel? I was like, I thought about it, but I never really got around to doing it. He said, oh, you should.
Yeah, why not?
So I thought...
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of a new media, for our, types of musics that we're all, in the same genre or like, I consider us a big metal family, so,
Yeah, we got... Yeah,
kind of new for us.
Yeah, I got a mate here named Simon. He's at work at the moment. He's an essential worker. He works for the NHS here. He got back into metal in 2014. I've been listening to it since 2003, so 17 years for me.
Wow, nice, man. That's awesome.
So I was like 11 when I got into it. I'm 28 now.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Like, you guys, like you and him, man. It's like, here, take the torch, go.
Go. Yeah, because the first time he met me, I was wearing a Bloodbath t-shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't have that shirt anymore. I got lost.
Oh.
I was just like, no, my favourite shirt!
Right.
Like, damn it! So, yeah.
It's always a big thing.
It sucks. Yeah. Just gonna... For anyone that doesn't know who this man is, this is David Gregor. Am I saying your last name right?
Yeah.
Gregor. And he's from the band...
Just like
Gregor McIntosh. Yeah, definitely. This is David Gregor. He's from the band Morta Skuld. I'm probably saying that one again. And this band's been around since, 1990?
Yep.
Yeah, because I've heard the demo, Prolong the Agony demo, which the intros to that is just freaking weird, because it's, what's his name? Eric?
Yes.
And, I was like, wow, he should be like a voiceover artist because he's got that sort of voice.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought, wow, this is pretty good. It's better than mine. I can barely do voiceovers.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah, and also when I was watching Cam's interview, because I just became friends with him, you said you used to be in the military, was it? Were you in the military? The army? Did you join? Yeah. How long were you there for?
I was in around 86 to like 89, 90-ish. So about 3 years. Yeah, I was overseas for, I think I was in Okinawa for a year.
Yeah.
And then otherwise I was in the States. And,
yeah. So you've been everywhere.
Program where,
So you've been everywhere.
I don't want to say everywhere.
Well, just enough places.
Maybe more than some, but like not, I have friends that, they're in Arizona one minute and then they're in, Florida and then they're, overseas somewhere. So, there are a lot of people that do travel more, but yeah, I've been lucky enough to be in a few places.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I was in, they had an early out program. There were just too many people in at the time. And whenever the military has too many people in,
yeah.
They go to a certain PA, you want out? And I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, I want out. I want to play some metal.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And believe it or not, though, a lot of military guys are serious metalheads. I mean, we had a guy in our barracks. Yeah, we had a guy in our barracks, and he would play guitar. He had a little practice amp, and he'd play like all these Metallica covers.
Nice.
Just a guitar. He's just sitting on, this big deck, and I mean, there's Marines everywhere, and he'd just be cranking out tunes and
just a one-man band.
Yeah.
Just like
stereo systems in our rooms.
That's cool.
Stuff. So, I mean, everybody was always cranking it, especially in Okinawa.
Nice.
Was like the spot where it really, I was always into music, but when I was there, I was like, wow, I really, really got into it, and I was like, I think I really want to be a musician at that point.
Yeah,
So
I think that was like me when I started getting into metal. I just like heard like Metallica and Slayer, but before that, Black Sabbath, Jimi Hendrix. Queen, because my mum's a big Queen fan. She might be watching for all I know. Because, David says hi, Mum. I'm just really, this is just me asking you questions and having a general chat.
Yeah.
And where did the name Morta Skuld come from? That's one thing I would love to know.
Yeah, it's very weird. It was kind of weird. A buddy of mine in a neighboring band in town, we had really we really weren't exposed to really death metal at this point. So we heard what they were doing. We're like, wow, this really sounds cool. I think it's something we want to do. And basically what happened was we had a band together already.
Yeah.
And there were 5 of us. And one of the guys, the singer, he just, I don't know. It really, we were looking for something like a little different than what he was able to do.
Yeah.
So we had this really weird thing where we had one song where all of us switched instruments for one song.
Okay.
Song. This is one song, and then I went from guitar to vocals.
Yeah.
And my buddy was sitting at rehearsal. We used to always, back in the day, we used to always have people at rehearsals and beers and
Yeah, of course.
And my buddy's sitting there, and he comes out. Yeah, there you go. My buddy comes up to me and goes, hey. He goes, did you ever think about maybe you singing? And I go, nah, dude, I can't do that. And he's like, no, you really could. So it was a conscious choice where the guy that was with us at the time, we were like, hey, we got to let you go. And we embarked on our first studio demo, or departure. And
Don't think I've heard that one.
And so I'm saying, my buddy, we'd sit at his house at night and we'd rewrite the lyrics and stuff, more friendly for, guitar players, singers, and stuff. And he had a list of names. And I was like, what? I was like, some of the names, I was like, no, dude, I'm not calling my band Puss or, whatever. I can't do it.
Puss!
Actually, I think it was, I think he actually had an industrial thing with one of the guys, another guy.
Okay.
And I think they that was their name. But it was funny, so he had Morta Skuld written down there, and I was like, dude, I really like that one.
Let's have that as our band name. It's brutal.
Yeah, he goes, you like that? And I'm like, yeah, that's perfect, dude. So yeah, it just, like I said, he helped me out, kind of took me under his wing, kind of, showed me a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then hey, he came up with the name, and I was like, yeah. And then to find out later on that it does have a meaning to it, which I didn't know. So.
Oh, cool. What's that? What's the meaning? What's the meaning behind it?
Well, it's kind of a twofold thing. So Morta is Greek for death. That's the Greek word for death.
Oh, I think I looked that up.
Yeah, and then Skuld is a Norse mythology. But we went to our local college here 25 years ago or whatever it was, because we were really intrigued, because I get this question on every interview. What does the name mean? So I thought to myself, I better do some research. So we did a lot of digging and a lot of books. And from what I see is the culmination of the 2 words basically is like the 3 fates, the 3 witches in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
I've read that up somewhere.
So it's kind of like, so it's kind of like the word together kind of means like the beginning, the middle, the end.
That's really interesting, actually. Well, I'm part of a pagan. Yeah. I'm part of a pagan group here, which is to do with all Norse mythology. So that's really good to know. And one of my friends, she actually tuned in, and she is part of that same group.
Nice, very cool.
So that's really interesting. So she's like, ooh. So your name's got a Greek name and a Norse name. That's pretty cool.
I know.
I like Greek mythology as well.
Part Greek, so.
That is mental. Yeah, that's cool. What's the other thing I was going to ask? Yeah. I also heard on the interview with Cam, I'm going to keep going back to Cam's interview. In your first band, not Morta Skuld, you brought your PA to the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I didn't know. I didn't know how things were.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you join a band. You don't know what you're going to do.
I know, it was so funny. We had like this beat up blue van. You know,
as you do.
Real big. Cram 5 guys in there.
Oh,
with
fuck.
all of our equipment, and it's like, oh, we gotta bring the PA. Yeah, brought the PA and speakers and everything, and the guy just looks at us like, "What are you doing?" And we're like, "Oh, we don't need a PA," and he's like, "No." Yeah, yeah, it's funny.
That's funny. Well, I used to play in a band. It wasn't death metal or anything. It was like a mixture of Metallica and the Ramones.
Oh wow!
And I started playing bass in that band. Literally, I don't know if it's the same sort of thing, but I just went to a rehearsal because I was only going to go and watch the rehearsal, and all of a sudden, like, here's our new bass player, and it was all mates of mine as well, except for one who I became mates with over time. I was just like,
But you know what? Sometimes sometimes though that's how things work out. Ironically, and kind of click, you know.
Yeah, because
like you said, you had no intentions. It was like, hey.
All of a sudden, I started playing bass, but I started playing with a pick first, and then I'm just doing it the traditional way we play with your fingers. Because I'm in a folk metal band, and I thought it suits that a little bit better. And I'm doing a death metal project, a funeral doom project, and I got a folk project. I just got too many things. I'm going to mention one of my favourite vocalists, Cam Lee. Cam Lee's one of my favourite vocalists.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, dude, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, he's been around for years.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, and I think in their first record, Beyond Creation, right? Am I getting that right?
Beyond Creation, there's a... Yeah.
What's the first one?
What, From Beyond?
Yeah, right. Well, the very first Massacre record.
From Beyond.
I remember when it came out.
That's what.
From Beyond. That's it.
Yeah, just think H.P. Lovecraft and one of his stories.
So many records running through your head. Yeah, I just remember opening it up, and I remember like, holy crap! Like, dude,
yeah, I know.
a T-shirt. Yeah, like I don't know if
I was wearing a T-shirt.
How he got one? Yeah, I don't remember how he got her T-shirt, but we opened up the cover.
It's a long time ago. I'll let you off.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm buddies with him on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah,
we don't chat often, but you know, every once in a while.
Yeah, I clicked follow on his main profile because I didn't want to add him straight away as a friend because I don't know him as much as you do.
Nice.
So I thought follow.
Yeah, no, we were actually
see what
we were
happens.
actually supposed to play with them. Like last month, we were supposed to play with them before all
before the pandemic happened. Yeah, that bullshit.
Yeah, they were gonna come in. I think it was Chicago. And one of the guys like, hey, you guys want to play with them? I'm like, hell yeah, you know. So we were really looking forward to it, and then of course everything kind of got.
Yeah, I was meant to be seeing him at I was meant to be seeing him at UK Death Fest.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to play with Monstrosity too.
Oh, nice.
Sometime last month or whatever, and of course, everything's been canceled. So, yeah, it kind of sucks, man. Because I mean, there's a lot of good guys out there, and I mean, I really, a lot of like Cam and Monstrosity, those guys. I mean, they were started before I really got into it. So I always I always say to people, I'm a second generation, death metal.
Yeah.
There were a lot before me, but we came in like right on the cusp. Like right as it really just kind of started, so we really got lucky.
Yeah, because you had the 1980s. Yeah, because you had the 80s, which it was just there wasn't really a scene then when I was doing like research and that, like way before I even had this as an idea, and and I saw that. I looked up like Death, and then I looked at the old lineup when they were Mantis, and speaking of Cam Lee, he was on there, and he was doing vocals and drums, which I thought, cool. Never knew he could play drums.
Right. Well, you know what? He, another thing too. Like when I watched the Death documentary,
I started watching it.
Like he's nowhere in it, or James Murphy too. And I kind of being a huge Death fan. Their well, Eric Reif managed us for a while, and he put out a compilation for me on Relapse. I mean, I'm very close to Eric as well.
Yeah.
But just the fact that those two guys were not mentioned in the documentary is kind of, it's like, wow, man, that
Well, because they were a big part of death.
How do you keep people out, and especially James too? I mean, well, both of them, Cam and James.
Yeah, both of them equally brought something to the band.
I talked to James, and he's just like, dude, like nobody ever came to me, and he's like, I would have loved to participate. And he had a lot to do with spiritual healing. Some people don't know that, but because Cam was saying on the live stream, because I was watching it before I went to bed, because I looked at my clock and I was like, oh crap, it's just gone 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was watching the live stream, and Cam was on about him and Rick just jamming before Chuck even came in and they formed a band, which is good because you hear it from and what I like about Cam is when I watch his live shows, I watched one that they played in 1986 with Morbid Angel, and he's just moving around the stage. I'm thinking, how has he got this so much? How has he got so much energy? Yeah.
And he's even doing it in the footage that Cam was playing of them back in '92. He's going mad on stage. He's just moving around. I'm thinking, how is he not fallen off stage yet?
Yeah, right. No, that's he's one of the legends in our industry, man.
I know. Yeah, he's brilliant.
I do the same thing too. I like there's some old schooler guys where I'm like, wow, how the hell Dave Vincent was always one for me where I was just so like, holy shit, like the bass lines he's playing versus what he's singing sometimes. I'm like, wow, man, like this guy really, I never really paid attention before. And then once I honed in on that, I thought, wow, this guy is like super talented too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of talent in our industry. And,
there's a lot,
especially the old school guys.
Yeah, the old school definitely.
I think it's awesome that Cam Lee's still doing stuff.
Yeah, because I've heard his other stuff. Bone Nor.
Yeah.
Grotesquerie is his other bands. Bone Nor, Grotesquerie. He's got his funeral doom band that he's got called. I'm probably going to get it wrong. Agrophaga, I think it's called. It's a funeral doom band, and he's doing a band with a mate of mine named Johnny, who he's a Swedish musician. He lives here in Bristol. He's in tons of bands. So if I'm going to think, oh, Cam does a lot of bands, Johnny does a lot of bands, put them together is like the ultimate thing. It's like the ultimate band. It's like, thinking heck. It's like, if I was in a band with Cam, it'd be like, I'll just be playing and stuff, but I'll be like, I'm in awe. Just like,
it'd probably be very exciting.
Yeah, I would love to do something with him, but obviously I got a lot of stuff on my plate with my death metal band and my doom band, and I'm doing some guest vocals for a mate of mine's band soon, and then guest vocals for our mate's band. One's brutal death and one's more like black death, doom sort of stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. Also I want to ask you as well, what bands got you into metal? What bands were it that made you think, wow, this is great music? What is it? Metal? Like, what were those bands?
That's a great question, because I grew up in I grew up in the 60s/70s, and I was really never a big fan of the 70s music.
Fair enough.
And then the 80s came along, and I was like, hey man, I listen to a lot of the classics, Alice Cooper and Styx and Foreigner and Journey and all the classics. But then you started seeing like, okay, Slayer and then Metallica, and then I remember as soon as I really started, I think it was probably the two things that probably lured me in. The early Exodus stuff. I had my very first exposure to like, not like the heavy, but like heavy was like Metal Church.
Nice.
That was my very first exposure. I was like, wow, this is freaking fantastic. And then of course Sabbath came along.
Yeah, big fan of Sabbath.
And then all of a sudden you're hearing of, wait, who's this band? Metallica.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
The same way.
So really, for me, it was like a mixture between like the real like a Bond in Blood. When I heard that, and then I heard I was with this girl at the time, and her brother was like cranking up all this stuff, and like I ended up spending more time probably with him listening to music because I was like, hey, this is interesting. And it was like Merciful Fate,
Nice.
Exodus,
Nice.
yeah, just a real classic, some early Slayer, and then some real early Metallica. And I really want to say, I'm not really a huge fan of Metallica anymore. I mean, I respect them, and they're obviously legends in their.
Yeah, I prefer the earlier albums.
Yeah, and for me, it was probably like Ride the Lightning. I think that was probably like one of the.
I got that in my cupboard.
Nice. That one I would say really was like, hey, dude, this is brutal. And then after that, it was Testament. Then I started really getting into Testament, and I'm like, Over the Wall, and
Yeah, I love Testament.
And it just kind of started.
They were the last big band I saw before this pandemic fully happened. So I got a picture with Gene Hoglan and Steve DiGiorgio. And then I found out that most of them got the coronavirus, like the COVID. And I was like, I was like, crap. Was that during that tour?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
I hope they're okay now. I hope they're fine.
Yeah.
This is fine.
All those albums really shaped my kind of desire or so to want to pursue it. But what really made me really get into it and really jump into it was Def Leprosy.
Nice.
That was the one that did it for me. I was working at a record store, and not one of my finest days, but my buddy's like, I looked at him, he goes, dude, you might like this cassette. And I said, oh, yeah. And I was like, well, dude, I'm not paying for it. He's like, just take it home. So, I like literally stole a cassette from the store I worked at, brought it home and cranked it up. And I was like, wow. Like, this is...
It is a brilliant album, I do have to say. It's brilliant. I love it.
I'm sorry?
I love it. Their album. I love Leprosy.
Oh, yeah, that's a great...
it's a brilliant album.
My feeling on that record is I still think it stands the test of time today. Like, I still think it sounds great. Everything applies. I mean, it's just such a great record, and it's such a great foundation for that band to... that's it. Yeah, if you don't like that album, then something's wrong.
Yeah, that's something. It's like, well, because the first time I bought, because I used to go to Florida quite a lot, like mostly every year with my brother and my dad, like in the 2000s. Last time I went was 2009. It might have been 2008 or it might have been 2009. I went to FYE.
Oh.
And then I looked at the metal CDs, and I just got into death metal more into death metal around that point. And I saw Scream Bloody Gore by Death, and I picked it up, put it on my portable DVD player that I had so I can watch films, just played it, and I was like... holy shit.
I know.
I was like, this is from Florida!
I know.
One of my favourite places to go. I haven't been during like January or anything. I've been during August, and it's really, really hot in August in Florida. Which you know.
I was in Florida once in August, and I've never been back since. It's
fair enough.
Hot.
Yeah, I want to go during like January and that.
Right.
Like, I don't know if it's a bit cooler in like January, February time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where their weather climates or anything. Here it's hot one day, it's cold another day, it's sunny, and then it's pissing down with rain. It's not pissing down with rain today though. It's nice blue skies. So I was like, if you ever come to England and it's raining, I'll be like, sorry man. Can't control the weather. It's like bollocks. Def's a great band. You've played with a lot of bands over the years, haven't you?
Fair amount.
Well, because you said you played with like you had a friend who said, right, I want to put you with Cannibal Corpse, and then Obituary, and then back in the 90s. This was.
Yeah, when they in the '90s when they would come through Milwaukee, we were fortunate enough to our manager at the time, Jack Koshik, which did all the Milwaukee Metal Fest, the big famous Milwaukee Metal Fest. Yeah, he would just call us up and he's like, hey, I got Obituary coming through. You know, you want to be on it? I'm like, hell yeah. You know, Camel Corpse. Yeah, we played with a lot of bands. God, Camel Corpse, Obituary, Autopsy,
Samson, Sin Carcass.
Shit, I can't even think of.
Dismember. Did you ever play with Dismember?
Yeah, you know what? I think we did play with them actually. It might have been on a fest, but I think we did.
Yeah, I got this when I saw them in Sweden because they reformed last year for Scandinavia Death Fest, which is run by the guy who does Maryland Death Fest, so they needed like a new thing. So they went to Scandinavia and it's like, oh, where's this going to be? Stockholm, Sweden. Cool. Because I was meant to be getting a tattoo like on this arm here to go with the tattoo I already got. But I couldn't find the tattoo shop because I didn't think he explained where it was properly. So I just went home on the train, looked on Facebook and saw Dismember have reformed with all original lineup. They're playing Scandinavia Death Fest. Must put half of my money back into my account and then buy the ticket.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, man, those guys run a really good fest, man.
Yeah.
I hope someday we get to be on the Scandinavian Death Fest. That would be freaking.
Yeah,
awesome.
I hope they do it again, like next year or the year after.
What was that?
I hope they do it like next year or the year after Scandinavia Death Fest.
That'd be very cool.
Because
those guys are just amazing. I mean, dude, Netherlands was wow. Netherlands was such.
Yeah, I went there.
That was
2017.
Yeah, that's some good stuff, man. I really had a great time, man.
Yeah, I've been to.
Probably one of the better experiences I think I've had being in a band over all the years. That was like probably one of my besides opening for Slayer.
Nice.
In my hometown. That probably has to be the second.
What year was that?
Huh?
What year was that? You opened for Slayer.
98.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because 97 is when you released Surface.
Yep. And in '98 we were gonna do a small tour to support it.
What happened with that?
And well, what happened was we did Slayer.
Yeah.
That was great. And then we were to play the next day, ironically, in Florida. And so we drove all the way to Florida. And then my drummer at that time, he said he didn't feel good. You know, and we're kind of like, come on, man, buck up, dude. You know, it's like just, you know,
come on, tough it up.
Right. No, he would. That's the bad thing. He didn't toughen up.
Oh,
and
geez.
basically, he was like, dude, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
I refuse. So, you know, basically the rest of the tour got canceled. We came home.
That just sucks.
You know, oh yeah, we lost our label. We lost our tour man. We lost everything, dude, because this dude didn't want to, you know, he didn't want to tour. And it's like, I even asked him before we left. I was like, if you don't want to do this, let me know so I can get somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
No, I want to do this. And yeah, unfortunately, he's like so responsible for us kind of really not being a band anymore at that point.
Jeez, man. You need members that are like 100% committed to the band, otherwise it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
You know, too, some guys don't like to travel, so like, you know, or for us, for example, our old bass player, AJ, he didn't like to really travel so much. So we recruited John Hill in the band, and John Hill actually toured and played with us more than he did. So when AJ had left the band, we're like, hey, John, welcome, you know? And John was like, hell yeah, you know? So, I mean, you know, that's how John kind of made it into the band. And, you know, John's great. He's a great addition. You know, great player. Fits well with us, likes to travel. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's one of those things. But, yeah, I agree with you. I really think my old drummer could have mentioned it. He could have said, hey, I really don't want to
sorry, man, I don't want to do the rest of the tour. Like sort of thing.
Where Morta Skuld would really be at this point. You know,
yeah, that's true.
Who knows? Would we be a bigger band? I don't know.
Well, you're big in the death metal road for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was chatting to some mates of mine that I'm gonna do what we're doing now, not live stream, but on like Zoom or something. And I was talking to you, and I mentioned your band. He was like, "Oh, Morta Skuld." He's like, it's one of my friends. He's in the band.
Yeah, yeah, especially overseas too. You know, there's a lot of fans that we haven't been able to get to, and when we played the Netherlands, and then we played the Symbolic Czech Fest too. Those are really great opportunities for us to get out to the fans. And some people are like, "Dude, I've been waiting 30 years to see you."
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. It was a very humbling experience, and it was so cool to see the fans were still interested. All these years later, with all the bands that are around now and everything that's going on, they still were like, "Dude, this is awesome.
I've been waiting to see you for so long." Like, and then when I got into you guys, I was like, "Are these guys playing?" And I remember when I looked you up, around the time I looked you up, I think you weren't a band at that point. And then all of a sudden you get back together and then you make a music video, which you explained about the music video. You didn't know what to do. Just wave your arms out like a little turkey.
I did, and I was like, yeah.
What am I doing?
Exactly. I didn't know what
I haven't made a music video. I did a film with mates of mine where I'm basically just playing a metalhead, but the guy I'm playing is a dick. and he's like really he's like those like metalheads are like, I am the metal lord, you cannot stop me. He's like, oh no, I'm not like that at all. When you meet me, I'm like I am now.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, I'm not. I don't. Yeah, I've known of some people in the past that I know of that were like, well, I want to be called this or be called that. And I'm I'm calling you by your name.
Just call me by my
name.
name.
Man, it was funny. Yeah, they get mad. It's like, what's your name? Your name's Joe, or whatever. And he's like, call me Night Lord or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm calling you Joe.
No, I'm going Joe.
Yeah, I don't get into that. I don't really get into that stuff, the whole personality thing and all that. It's like,
no, I don't do that.
If you see me just like yourself, I am who I am. I'm a person.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just a person.
Different,
Yeah, because if I start playing, because I'm in like one of my bands did a gig last year. Well, 2 gigs. One was a mate's 30th, and then we played. There's a metal pub here. It's the best metal pub. It's been voted that, but it was already the best metal pub anyway. It's called the Griffin. It's a metal pub.
Oh, okay.
And we played there on the 5th of October last year. And one of my mates, Alex, who's on here, because I mentioned Scandinavia Death Fest, goes, Scandinavia Death Fest. And then I think he purchased a ticket for UK Death Fest, because that's happening. That's supposed to be happening this year, but it's happening next year now.
Right.
And yeah, it was his birthday. And I remember just being on stage because sometimes I'm a bit get a bit tense when I'm on stage. I don't move around like Cam or someone would.
Sure.
I just stand there, head bang. I just tapped him on the shoulder going, "It's his birthday today."
Nice.
And it's like a mixture of stoner, doom, and a bit of death metal.
Wow.
Interesting
combination.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to the band. It's I'll mention it anyway. A lot of people know who it is. Herbicidal.
Cool. Yeah, we're working with a guy. We've been working with a guy over in the UK, Alex, for quite a while now. We got a tour put together, but with all this going on, I'm just waiting for it to be canceled because everybody else is.
Yeah, because
I'm definitely not looking forward to it because we were gonna be hitting like Germany and France and Netherlands and Czech and Portugal and the Porto Death Fest and the Killtown Death Fest we were scheduled for. So I'm like, I really hope it goes through. I really do, but I gotta really prepare myself that.
But it's very likely none of these gigs and tours are gonna happen. That's the thing, because most of the gigs I was supposed to be going to have been either completely cancelled or been postponed till next year.
That's just ridiculous.
It's the same with Bloodstock, which is one of the biggest metal festivals here in the UK. That got postponed until next year.
Right.
But luckily they added an extra day because it usually starts on the Thursday. So you get there Thursday and set up, and now he's starting it on Wednesday, which I thought, sweet, like 5 days of music.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah,
really...
I think it's ridiculous. I think promoters should just be like, hey, I personally feel if they still had the shows, people would still come.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm not in those countries. I don't know what their restrictions are. I don't know what the promoters would have to do or not have to, you know what I mean? So I guess I'm probably speaking out of turn, but at the same time, I feel like come like August, September, you know, if we're still at a decent, you know, place with this, I think we should just go for it. Cause I know, like, even in my hometown, we have a big state fair. It's like huge, and we have two big things in this state, and one is we have a summer fest, and it's supposed to be like the world's largest music festival. That's what they call it. But that got canceled, and then the state fair is the second biggest thing in town, and that got canceled.
Jeez.
So I'm like, really, man? I'm like, why? I just don't understand it. It's like, I don't know. But
we got something here called the Harbourside Festival, because you go into the centre of here in Bristol. There's a Harbourside, and there's always this festival we got called the Harbourside Festival, and there's like so many people. You get all these different food stalls and stuff, and it's just rammed with people. But I think that's already been cancelled, I guess, because of this pandemic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks. Yeah, no.
Believe it.
Yeah, it's nuts. Because I was gonna say I bought the first 3 albums on the website Burning Shed.
Oh, cool.
Because I thought I might. You're welcome. I might as well. I thought I'm into this band, and I haven't, you know, got any of their stuff. So I thought, oh look, the first 3 albums on here: Dying Remains, As Humanity Fades, and For All Eternity.
Yep. And then there's
Surface, which I couldn't see on there.
There's Surface. Then there's the best of Morta Skuld through Peaceville, and then there's Through the Eyes of Death, which is the demo compilations with a couple of extra songs. That's on Relapse. And then there's Serving Two Masters that we did the EP for Dread Records. And then Wounds Deeper Than Time is Peaceville. And then the new album that we finished up with recently is called Suffer for Nothing.
Nice.
And that is going to be on Peaceville hopefully in October.
Oh, that's cool. How long have you been with Peaceville for?
Well, we were with them for the first 3 albums,
yeah,
so
of course.
About 8 years at that point, and then we parted ways, and I'd say probably about 2015, 16-ish maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been about the last 4 years or so. So, I mean, you know, they do a great job. They got a great back catalog. For me, it was a no-brainer because it was like, hey, our back catalogs, you know, our best albums we did, minus Surface, was on your label. So it was just fitting for me, especially when we planned the Dread Records release. The Serving Two Masters was kind of like a testing of the waters to see if people really were still interested in what we were doing. And then, of course, to come back after being gone for whatever, 10, 12, 13 years, whatever it was, you know, as far as from the band. You know, we pressed up like 500 copies, and they you know, somewhat quick. And, you know, that's when I was, you know, talking to me and Paul, though, from Peaceville, we've been talking for, God, probably 15 years now. You know, I've been talking to him ever since the early 2000s.
Cool.
Just, you know, stay in touch and, you know, whatever. And the main reason what really got me to really talk to him was the original pressing of Dying Remains and As Humanity Fades and For All Eternity. The original vinyl pressings were getting, and actually, you know, now that I think about it, I don't think For All Eternity ever had a vinyl pressing at that time. So it was just the first 2 albums. And what happened was over the years, you know, not my words, but other people feel they're classics, you know.
Yeah.
And especially original pressings in '93 and '95. So I noticed on the internet they were selling on eBay for like $100, $150, $200.
That's just stupid.
Yeah. Well, I got my hands on some original pressings, and I was selling those things for like $50, $75 a piece, dude. Like, they were just going real fast. So that's when I got the idea to approach the label, and I said, hey, do you ever think of like maybe reissuing these CDs, like remastering them and this and that? And they're like, yeah, we're not interested. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't know, man. I've been talking to a lot of fans, and I said, fans are pretty interested in Dying Remains. And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah,
It's set
Die
in the
Remains is
studio.
awesome.
Huh?
Yeah, Die Remains is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I went in the studio, and yeah, you'll be getting the remastered version, which sounds really, really good.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to show up.
Cool. Yeah, so so basically I went in the studio, we remastered Dying Remains, we put together this really freaking cool, like 16-page booklet about the history of the band, and I had flyers and clippings of articles, and I really wanted to make it look really, really nice. So they did that, and then I said, well, hey, all of a sudden they're like, well, why don't we do the other two as well? And I was like, okay, the only difference between the first one and the other two is the first one I felt got more of a deluxe release because I had all this content, but the problem is by the time I got to the second and third reissue, you know what I mean? It's like I had already used most of the content for Dying Remains because I didn't know we were doing the other two. So the other two don't really have such an elaborate booklet, but they both are remastered.
That's all.
They put the other two out. So yeah, the first three got remastered. All three have a vinyl release reissue, and I fought for that because I said, I thought, the fans, why should I'm not going to myself. I would never pay $200 for a record.
No, I wouldn't.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so I thought, man, the fans deserve better than that, and I would really like them to get our music at an affordable price.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I fought for the reissues, and then the reissues came out, and then at that point it was kind of a no-brainer to go like, hey, we got new material. Is Peaceful interested in a new record from us? And they were nice enough to extend us a deal, and Lose Deeper Than Time, that's a great record.
I need to listen to that. I haven't heard it yet.
All this stuff is at theburningshed.com for everybody else.
Yeah, I just went on there because you mentioned it when you were speaking to Cam, so I thought.
Yeah, because I get it all the time. They're like, "Well, where do we order your
Wait a
stuff?"
minute.
And I'm like, because you can order it direct from me mostly.
Oh, that's right. Well, that's cool.
Is when you're ordering from me, then I gotta charge you these outrageous shipping prices because it's so expensive.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't really want to do that.
Right, because Peaceful is in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to mention Peaceful as well because you're right up with the bands, like my favourite bands on there. You guys, Paradise Lost was. I think they're still on there.
Yeah,
Are they still on there? I haven't checked in a while. I'm going to have to double check again. I think the last time I checked on Metallum, they were still on there, or they might have been on past roster. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think they're on Peaceful anymore. I think they got.
I think Autopsy's still on Peaceful.
Yeah.
Autopsy, that's one of my favourite bands as well. I was meant to be seeing them this year at UK Death Fest, but obviously, stupid pandemic, decided to go, oh, sorry, not happening.
Right.
But they rescheduled it for next year, so I'm like, cool, I'm still going to see Autopsy.
Very nice. Yeah, no, they're a great classic death metal band.
I love them.
Fuck, we played with them once, and it was a really bad year. It was kind of when death metal really wasn't so popular.
Yeah, because black metal was coming up a bit more. There's more black metal.
It was like us and them, and there was like nobody at the show. And I'm thinking, like, are you kidding me? And now, dude, they sell out. And like,
Yeah, because that's just funny, isn't it? Because in the 80s there wasn't much of a scene until when I was watching the Fruitvale Red Massacre in '86. There was quite a few people there because everyone in Florida or some people might have travelled up. I'm not sure. And all of a sudden the 90s came around. It was big in the early 90s, and then all of a sudden you get to the mid 90s, late 90s. It's like, where is everybody?
Yeah, no, and it's funny you say that because here, I was just talking to a buddy of mine last night, and we were talking about Morbid Angel, and I said, yeah, he's like, Domination, man. I said, yeah. I
got that as well.
Right, and when they were on that tour, they came to Milwaukee, and we opened for them. So it was like us, Grip Incorporated, Lombardo's band, and then it was Morbid Angel. And I'm like, yeah, 98. He goes, 98? He goes, that was like 95. And I go, oh my God. I said, why did I think that was 98? So, yeah, you're right. It was like between like 88 and like 95 95, 96, and then like
Something
after
like
that
that.
it was like, where did everything, like, the bands were still there, and that's one thing that I have to a lot of my fellow old school bands is kudos to them for sticking through that, because I know for us it didn't happen. We broke up, we couldn't find replacements. I got frustrated, which I look back now and feel like I wish I would have waited it out, you know, a couple of more years to find the right members and continue. Instead of I went off into a little bit of a different area. You know, new metal was very big at the time.
Yeah.
A few of the I liked a few of the bands. You know, Static X I was really into, and I was like, wow, man. I said maybe I should try to do something like that.
And then that's where your other band came in.
Yeah, and then we did 9mm Solution. We did that. And
Can't say I've heard anything from that band.
Huh?
I can't say I've heard anything from that band.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I mean, there's tons of YouTube stuff on it.
Yeah,
we weren't.
I think I looked once and I couldn't find anything.
Huh?
I think I looked once for 9mm Solution and I couldn't find anything on YouTube. I don't think at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm tempted. I'm very interested in giving it a listen.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not. It's heavy. It's heavy, but it's not like death metal heavy. But it's heavy.
So yeah.
And that was the one thing I liked about it was kind of we were in that middle, kind of like almost like Fear Factory was at one point, where they were heavy enough to play with heavy bands, but they still had a little bit of commercial edge to them, where they could play with more commercial bands. And that's kind of what we did. But regardless, that band, ran its route, and then it led me back to do this again.
Yeah.
And very grateful for it. I just, I wish I would have stuck it out, because who knows, like I said, where the band would be. When we came back in 2012 or 11ish, it was the same thing. We had to establish ourselves again.
Of course.
Even though we had the 20, 30-year history and we had the classic albums, we still had to establish ourselves as a band on the scene again. And we had to go through all the same things we went through, 20, 30 years ago. Okay, we got to get the members, and, we got to get on the same page, and we got what material we're going to play. And, so we started out, honestly, we just started, even though we were a band that had been around for many years, we had to start over from scratch. And that's kind of what we did. And we've been very active the last 3 years. Very fortunate to do some really good stuff with some really good people, and get out and play in front of a lot of fans that we really probably wouldn't have been able to do prior. I'm sad that 2020 has taken the turn it has, but I'm very excited to get out there and play once our new record hits, and see what people think about it at that point.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna ask you another question, just because it just came to my head now. If there's any other band that you would like to play with that you haven't played with, who would it be and why?
Oh man!
Like, is there a band you never got to play with?
Oh wow!
If that's too difficult, we can move on.
Yeah, right. Oh man, that's a great thing, because we've played with some really killer bands. I'm trying to think, obviously there's legendary bands, out there, like, who the hell would want to play with Metallica? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't mind.
Honestly, I'd have to say, if I honestly had, and then this is probably it's a very far-fetched, but, like, opening for Ozzy, I think would really be cool.
Oh, I can picture that, actually. So, got Morta Skuld, we've got some death metal, and all of a sudden you got like a band that's similar to Ozzy, and all of a sudden, Ozzy, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think it would be awesome, because he was such a big influence on me.
Yeah.
Early on, starting with Black Sabbath and then going on to his solo career. At the time that I started getting into him, Dire Madman had just came out. So, like, I saw the one of the last 2 shows with Randy Rhoads I was at.
Oh, you got to see him with Randy Rhoads?
I kind of. If everybody stood on their seats, so it was kind of like, oh, you got a glimpse, and then up. So I really did have the best view.
It's like, wait,
but yeah,
get it? There it is. Look.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was kind of like,
Hello.
I'm like, why is everybody everybody's standing on their seats, you know.
Stop standing on your seat!
Right.
That's what the floor's for.
I thought back to that time, I was probably like 16 or 17, and I think to myself, like, I looked at the arena, oh my God, this is huge. And it's funny because that same arena is still here, and they have hockey games there. And we go to hockey games now and again, and I look at the arena, and I'm looking, and I go, wow, this is really small compared to, like, the other one we got down the street. And I'm like, how did I think at that age this place was so huge, and now I think it's so small? So it's just funny how, like, we kind of grow up, and you see different things, and, you know. But yeah, Ozzy, I would have to say Ozzy. I think that would be awesome. And I think in, like, Ozzy in the UK somewhere would be, I think would be.
Yeah, I definitely come to that.
Yeah.
Because I got to see
that would be cool.
Yeah, because I got to see Ozzy with Black Sabbath about 4 times.
Right.
Because I saw them when they reformed in 2012, and they played the Birmingham O2.
Right.
And then they played Download. They played Download the month after, which Download's in June, is another British festival. But
very cool. Yeah, they played in O2. They played in O2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. They came here to the States too, and I saw them at that time, and that was the first time I saw Sabbath, and I was like, dude, this is freaking awesome. Dude.
I love Sabbath.
I'm mad. I wish they would have just kept going. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to down Ozzy or nothing, but it's like, you know, you can only do a solo career for so long.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, because I got to see Ozzy when he did his solo stuff at Download 2 years ago with my mate. With a mate of mine, mate Chris, because it's the first time I got to see him on his own, but I saw him with Black Sabbath, and it was the first time I got to see Guns N' Roses as well.
Oh wow!
Do you like Guns N' Roses?
I heard they're very. Huh?
Do you like Guns N' Roses?
Not particularly. But I mean, I think they're good at what they do, and it was weird because when they first came out, I didn't even know who they were because I was in Japan. I was in the service, and I was in Japan.
Oh wow!
And the thing is, Japan gets things like, usually in the States, it's like, California or New York, they always get the newest, best things first, and it kind of trickles down.
And then it's like,
but over in Japan, they were like a year behind in music. So like, I didn't even know
really
when I was over there. Like it was like a bunch of bands, like Guns N' Roses, like Tesla came, like all these. I didn't know what any of these bands were. And I remember going back to the States, like, when you were gone, So no, I don't mind Guns N' Roses. I hear they're very, very good live.
Oh, they are. You can still put on a show. I know that because my mate's seen them 3 times now because we both really like a band. Well, love a band called Gojira from France.
Oh hell yeah!
Do you like Gojira?
Yeah, those guys. Oh yeah. The Flying Whales. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I have to find the whales.
Right. They got some good stuff, man. I was, when I first heard them too, I was like, well, who are these guys? Like, wait a minute. Like, what the hell? Like, it's so weird because I kind of feel like they're kind of like a Meshuggah kind of, where like they just have this uniqueness. They're not technical, they're not flashy, but they just have like these time signature things going on. You're like, well, what the fuck is going, But
it draws
you in.
It drew me in because
the singer guitar player. I'm like, how the heck does that guy just wow?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're all very.
I got to meet him as well 3 years ago because they played. Well, actually, yeah, because I saw him in Birmingham. Me and my mate went to the Birmingham show, and then we saw him in Bristol and did a meet and greet. So we got to meet him, see him doing sound check, and I'm thinking, well, this is a lot different. I'm used to them headbanging and telling the crowd to go nuts and everything.
Yeah.
But seeing them doing a sound check is just okay. This is a heavy band, but watching a sound check. But I'm still going like headbanging, just like nodding my head, like yes, go.
Sure.
They're awesome band. They're awesome band life. Oh wow, this has been a very interesting chat, don't you think?
Absolutely, man.
Well, yeah.
Talking metal.
Talking metal. Yeah. Pretty much. Well, probably wouldn't want to answer this question anyway, but if you want to, feel free. Out of all the bands you've ever gone on tour with or played, like, before you went on tour, even did touring, the bands that you played with, who would you say were your favourite bands to ever play with? Like, your favourite bands. Who were your favourites?
You mean bands I played with or bands I want to play with?
Bands you played with back in the day.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, back in the day, we didn't really tour.
You didn't tour.
Yeah, for the first 8 years, we didn't do nothing. So, but you know, it was a different era.
I mean, when you did like the local shows and you were supporting the big bands, who did you like playing with?
Yeah, right. It was weird. It was like Dying Remains came out. We didn't tour off of it at all, but it sold really well.
Yeah, well, that's good. You don't have to necessarily tour.
Yeah, well, and that's how I feel like the '90s were. It was like I felt you could still be a pretty decent. You know, you could still be somewhat of a, I want to say big band, but you could be, you know, somewhat decent on a decent level, and really not have to go on the road a whole lot.
No.
Things have changed with that, but I'll answer your question. Last year we went out with Skeletal Remains.
They are awesome.
And those dudes were like super cool. Chris is super awesome.
Yeah, I met them when they played the Griffin. They played the Griffin. I met them and I bought pretty much the 2 albums they had out at the time.
Yeah, and out of all the newer bands that are out there, they were the ones that just one day, like I'd say maybe 2 years ago, it was weird. They popped up on my radar, and I was like, "Whoa, who are these guys?" And
that's what I was like.
With the records, and then we got asked. They came to Wisconsin. They were coming through Wisconsin. And somebody at the promoter said, "Hey, I said, hey man," I said, I want to be on that show with those guys." He's like, "All right, cool, you know." And we get on the show with them, and as I'm talking to the members, they're like super, you know, they're like, "Dude, Morta Skuld, man, fucking, we love you guys." And I'm like, "Oh wow, it's really cool," and
nice.
You know, they really knew a lot about the band, and it just And then after that, I said, you know, Chris and we talk regularly, and I says, "Man," I really would like to go out with you guys. And he's like, "Dude, that'd be awesome." So. We weren't able to put something like big together, but they had like, you know, like I said, it's like maybe 5 or 6 dates, and you know, we were just like, yeah, let's maybe it was like 4 or 5 or whatever. It was like about a week, and I said, let's do it, you know. And I mean, we went out east and all that, and it was really fun. They were a great band to play with,
That's
and
cool.
just good guys to hang out with, and you know, it was just all around. I feel like we're very similar bands.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, we're
I can agree. Yeah, I can agree with that. You're very similar. Yeah. I can agree on that.
Yeah, they got a great style, and you know what's crazy about them is they don't sound like a newer band.
No, they sound like they're from that same era. Right. Which is what I liked about them, because they had that same era of what you guys and Cannibal Corpse and all the other bands were playing.
Absolutely. But the cool thing that I do, another thing I like about them is they don't really sound like everybody else.
No. They got their own sound.
They still sound like.
Yeah, because the guitarist and vocalist, the main guy, he says his because he says his main influences were James Murphy for like guitaring.
Oh, I believe that.
And for vocals, it was like Von Drunen and Chuck.
Oh, dude. That is so funny because both of those are spot on. When I hear him sing, the first thing I think is the Pestilence, like right.
Yeah, definitely. I love Pestilence. Never seen them though.
That's actually, that's cool. I know people had asked me in the past, like, well, what were your, who do you? I said Chuck. Chuck from Death was always a big influence of mine, but I think sometimes I got a little of maybe sounding a little bit more like John Tardy.
John Tardy, yeah.
You know, I got that a lot back in the day. You know, like, hey, you kind of sound a little like Tardy in the areas. And I guess, you know what I mean. I'm not saying anything bad. I think that's a compliment for me.
Do you know what's funny about that? Do you know what's funny about that? I can actually agree with that.
Yeah,
the vocals. I mean, you got your own little style there when you go a bit low, but then when you do other bits, it sounds a bit like John Tardy.
Yeah. So I mean, in recent, it's funny. The newest record, my girlfriend, I always, she listens to this stuff. She's a fan too. Nice. I let her listen to the new record. She's like, I said, "What'd you think?" And she's like, wow, I think your vocals sound like Max Cavalera. And I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, I'm like, wow, I think
Nice.
that's cool.
Max Cavalera is.
I've heard on this record, I've heard two people say Dave Vincent and Max Cavalera. Those are
that's what a mate of mine who's on the East, when I was sharing my album out with my band I mentioned, he says, oh, you kind of got a David Vincent sort of flow in your vocals when I do death metal. I was like, well, I was kind of going for a Carl Willits from Bolt Thrower Memoriam, but okay.
Oh yeah, Carl. Yeah, you know what? Me and him used to be really, really good friends. We used to write back and forth back in the day. I keep in touch with him now. He's not very big on social media.
I got him on Facebook. I mentioned what we're doing now. He's not big on it, and I was like, that's fair enough.
Right, but I mean, the new band,
I've seen them twice now, and they are brilliant.
Huh?
I've seen them twice now, and they are brilliant.
Oh, really? Wow, yeah.
They played Bloodstock 2016 and 18, and I was like, oh my god, this is so great.
Well, and you know what's really crazy about them is they did one record 1 year, like 3 years in a row. They did one record every year, and I thought, wow,
that's what I was like. I was like, well, cool, I could just buy one when it comes out.
Right.
So I was like, oh, amazing, yeah, brilliant.
Well, I messaged Carl, and I said, what the hell? I said 3 albums in 3 years, and he's just like, I said, what made you do that? And he said, because we can. And I said, that's awesome.
Because you can.
The last record, and I think each record has progressively gotten better. You know.
Yeah.
You know, Full Thrower.
It's still got Memoriam's still got that bit of Bolt Thrower in there.
And here's a good story. They played here in not in Milwaukee, but they played in about an hour from here. It's called Sheboygan, Wisconsin, where a lot of bands we used to get together and play, and at this really cool little it was an old church, and I remember I had gotten married at the time, and I was sitting home, and my wife at the time didn't want to go out, and I'm like, it's like middle of winter, so it's snowing, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good, and I said, but I know Bolt Thrower is playing, so I drove about 45 minutes to an hour, and I walk in. And they must have just started, and I get there, and Carl literally sees me in the back of the room, and starts talking to me during the song. So I thought it was hilarious. So I watched, he's doing the and all of a sudden you hear he's like, oh hey Dave, here and this that, and I'm like, oh my god, dude,
that is brilliant.
Honestly, we used to be.
That is brilliant. Oh. I hope he's watching this now.
I hope, because I try to reach out to him now and again. I'd like to maybe have a little bit of a closer internet relationship, so to speak.
Well, that's all we can really do at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, because we used to write each other a lot back in the day. I mean, I used to write Nick Ain Entombed, him and I would write. Mitch Harrison and Napalm Death and I would write. So, I mean, I had a bunch of pen pals with everybody.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
great.
It seemed like once the 2000s kind of came in, it seemed like you said, you were like, where did everybody go? Like, a lot of bands just kind of disappeared.
I mean, I was a kid when there was, the death metal scenes. I didn't get into it till a bit later. 2004, 2005, and because I heard Cannibal Corpse, because a mate of mine said, check out Cannibal Corpse. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it at first. I didn't mind the guitars and all that. It was when I heard the vocals, I was like, no, I'll push this aside. And then I heard Cannibal Corpse again. It was Hammer Smashed Face, and I was like, right, I'm hooked.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and Alex Webster and I share the same birthday.
Nice. I was going to say earlier, because you mentioned Static X earlier.
Yeah,
I got the same birthday as him. We both have the same birthday.
Who?
Me and Wayne Static have the same birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, sadly, he's no longer with us.
Right.
Which sucks. So yeah, I'll celebrate my birthday as well as his.
When is it?
4th of November.
Oh, 4th of November.
I'm a November kid.
Yeah, I remember seeing Cannibal Corpse on their very first album. They were playing some local club here, and
Eating back to life.
they all
Yeah.
piled out of this van, and they played. We're like, whoa, who the fuck are these? Like they were just, they were great. Those guys.
No, I can just imagine them coming out of the van just going like this. Right, let's get some metal on.
Right. Yeah, and I mean their last record, I love the last records. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, they are good ones.
It's funny how you go, like you were saying, you go back to the 2000s, and you really see a lot of these death metal bands, and you pick those records, and it's like, did they, you wonder, like in the 90s, everybody's record did well pretty much.
Yeah.
But in the 2000s, record sales were down, because that music wasn't more exposed, and the bands were just breaking up and stuff, and like you said, the popularity was moving towards grunge and
grunge,
other stuff.
like
and
when I think grunge, Nirvana,
records, right. I feel like if you go back to the 2000s and you put some death metal records in, you can kind of feel like it's just I just don't feel the enthusiasm, because I think a lot of people were just disappointed where the movement was going.
Yeah, because I feel like it was a lot bigger in the 90s, and all of a sudden you got late 90s and 2000s. It's like, okay, what the hell's the death metal scene? And all of a sudden it picks up by the end of the late 2000s. In a way.
Right.
In a sense. I was also going to mention as well, you did a split with not one of my favourite bands, and I think there's going to be a lot of other ones' favourite bands, and that's Vital Remains.
Yeah, Peaceful Records. That was a weird situation. We were recording As Humanity Fades at the time, and we decided to do we tuned differently. Right. We used to be in a drop tuning for Dying Remains, and then when we went to As Humanity Fades, we did like a D standard, like Death, whatever bands, just straight D tuning. And we wanted to do a rendition of Sacrificial Rite. We wanted to put it on as a bonus track.
Right.
And so we did this, we redid the song, and we had a guest local guy here, phenomenal guitar player. I said, hey, you want to come in and rip the solos? He's like, yeah. So neither of the guys in the band of Morta Skuld at that time did any of the solos. It was this guy came in and did guest, and he shredded it up. I thought it sounded awesome.
Nice.
And we gave it to Peaceville, and they put it out with the split with Vital Remains, but never put it on.
Yeah, because the Vital Remains split was like, what year did that come out again?
I do not know the year.
I went, because I went on Matana. It looked like the early 90s when I looked at it, because it said Death Records.
Yeah.
On it, so.
Oh yeah, so it might have been the end. It might have been like maybe end of '91. No,
yeah.
No, wait a minute.
Wait. We gotta think about this, folks.
Now I gotta think, because we recorded, because 90 as Humanity Fades was in 95.
Yeah.
So it had to be around like 90, probably around 93, 94, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have a look later, and then I'll message him thinking, oh, is this?
Right on.
Because I look up things like, because people say to me, oh, Jake, you have such a knowledge of death metal. Well, here's the thing, I don't know every death metal band.
Right.
There's bands that were out when I was a kid, and they split up around that time, and I don't know who they are, and I have to look them up. So it's good having people like you, Cam Lee, John from Incantation, and people like that who will talk about these bands, because no one else would know who the hell they are unless you look them up. And I look them up, and that's what people are like, you just find all these bands, don't you? It's like, what the hell else am I going to do?
Right. No, I was just lucky enough to grow up in that era, and I was lucky enough to be part of the death metal as it was growing, and just very fortunate enough to get into the style of music, and just awesome that the fans are still digging what we're doing, and,
and also I was going to mention with Surface, because the first time I heard about that, and the first time I heard about you guys actually, was a YouTuber named Boss Metal. That's what he's called on YouTube, and he actually showed Surface by you guys on his video.
Oh wow!
And he played the song "The Anger in Disguise," and I thought, nice.
Oh, very cool.
Then I wanted to hear the actual song, and I couldn't find the song for a while until years later, and someone posted a bunch of your songs on YouTube, Caught in the Anger in Disguise. I just like how it starts with the guitar, and then you got like the sort of like not breakdown part, but like that really old school death metal. And all of a sudden your vocals just come in, and I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah, that was a good. That was a really good record. And that was we. The funny thing about that record is we did 4 songs as a demo in like 96, 97, and then in like and then like early 97, I think we did like 4 more.
Yeah.
And we just threw it together, and they're like, let's just make an album out of the 2 demos, called it a day, and no, I love Service. I think Service is a really good record. It doesn't get enough,
I like it.
It doesn't get enough. I guess I don't know the word I'm trying to say, but
doesn't get enough recognition.
Yeah, it doesn't get its due, and I think it's such a shame because it's a really good record. It's 8 solid songs. They're just the whole record, and it's produced well. It sounds good.
Yeah, because when I heard that song, because I did hear the album, and that's always the song that sticks out for me. Because as soon as you come with your vocals, you got like the Anger in the Skies. I was just like, fucking hell.
Nice.
This guy knows how to do it. This guy knows how to do it, and playing guitar at the same time when you're playing live as well. When did you start playing guitar, by the way?
I did not start playing till I was about 21.
Well, that's.
So I started out pretty late.
I was 13.
Maybe it was 20.
Well, you're never too late to start.
No, it's not. I tried to play when I was 16, and then I just was frustrated because I didn't have any direction, and at the time, a lot of the teachers were, like, read music.
I can't read music.
I'm not a big music. I can't either, and it's like I'm not a real big theory guy either.
That's what I mean. I can't read the music theory. I gotta have tabs with like the numbers on it, so I know what I'm hitting on my guitar or my bass or whatever. That's what I'm.
Sure.
Someone said, "Read this scale." What the hell am I looking at?
Right.
I
I was lucky enough to where I took some basic rhythm classes, and then I just kind of started doing the band thing right away. And yeah, the singing and playing at the same time, man, it just, it took, just kept doing it, just had to keep doing it and just get, trying to get better at it and better at it.
That's what I want to do for my death metal band when I start playing live with it once this is all over. Because I'm recording stuff anyway, so then I can try and put it as best as I can, send it. I know some mates who can do like mix and mastering and just send it over to them because I can't do that. I just like called it, here you go, see what you can do with that. I'm just going to bring out a demo and then just put on Bandcamp. It's going to be digital release at first because a lot of bands seem to do digital release. Because my band Herbicidal's only got digital releases at the moment. Hopefully we'll get CDs. Hopefully. But yeah. Been getting a lot of messages from this chat because John Evan, I think I'm saying it just differently. He just put for all eternity and the metal signs like that.
Oh,
and also he also said David Gregor Riffmaster legend.
Oh please.
You're making him blush.
Yeah, exactly.
You're making him blush. Stop it.
That term, I never get used to that term.
Riffmaster.
I'm humbled by it. You know what I mean? If people consider that, I'm definitely humbled by it. So.
Yeah, that's cool. And also Greg again posted and put I've got the same birthday as Randy Rhoads.
Oh, that is super cool.
It's like nice.
Super cool.
Well, I've been checking the time as well because I got to get. Well, we can chat before my next interview with my mate's band, so I'll just keep chatting to you and ask you more questions. Just bombard you. I will not let you eat lunch. Since I got a nice kind of stout here.
Ooh,
it's
good.
It's called Union Black. It's a Jamaican stout.
Oh, very cool.
And it's
hell yeah.
6%.
Hey, there you go.
Do you have a favourite type of drink you like to drink, like ale, stouts, whiskies?
Yeah, I'm more of a
rums,
lager guy.
lager.
I'm more of a lager. Yeah, I'm more of a pretty straight up lager guy. But I mean, I have been known to venture out. Since obviously the craft beers have become more popular.
Oh, I drink a lot of those, believe me.
Oh yeah, I like the IPAs.
Oh yeah, I drink those. I got a bunch coming from Brewdog.
What was it Franz Encounter or Dunkel? What the hell's that called? I drank it in the Netherlands. I know we got it here too.
My mate Chris will know. Chris, what is that? My mate Chris, who I mentioned earlier that I went and saw Sabbath and Gojira and all that with. You'll probably know. Or my mate John, who owns the Griffin, he might know.
Right.
He might know.
I like every once in a while I'll do like an oatmeal stout or something.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah.
I love that. I love oatmeal stouts. I got a milk stout chilling in the fridge because John, who I mentioned earlier, who owns the Griffin, because I bought a milk stout in a jerry can, came today.
Nice.
Since we can't actually go to the pub. We can't go to the pub. We can't socialise. We can't go out and meet people. Because I managed to get out for a walk 2 days ago. There's a field behind my house, and there was no one on it. So I just put on my mate's solo folk project and Devin Townsend.
Oh, very
I
cool.
love Devin Townsend because he had strapping young lad.
That guy is a genius, man.
He is also the nicest person you'll ever meet because I got a set list. I'm looking at it now, and a VIP lanyard, so we did a meet and greet, me and my mate. After I had my picture of him, I just gave him a hug.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, I've never met him before, but just knowing the fact that he does all the writing and recording and
that's what I love. What I love about him is he's a nice person because I've met him twice, and I've actually managed to be around him a bit longer at that point before the show started. This was in Cardiff last year, and that, like you say, he just does all the recording and all that stuff. And if he made something else, like if he like let's think of like sometimes he made like songs about Oatmeal Stout, I'd be like, yeah, Oatmeal Stout. He's got a song called Lucky Animal, and he's got like an unofficial music video of him dancing in his garden.
Or what's that beer we drink in the Netherlands? Juniper.
Juniper, yeah.
It's called? That's a lager.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, because I bought a pint for a mate of mine from the Netherlands. His name's Ed, but he goes by Infidel Amsterdam on YouTube. I don't know if you heard of this channel.
Okay.
I bought him
What's up?
Ed, if you're not on here, get on here. I'm joking. If you're busy. No, yeah, I bought him a beer because I met him at Bloodstock, the festival. It's not in Bristol, it's in Derbyshire.
Okay.
And big field. I've seen it without any of the stuff when the crew's gone there to look at it. I'm thinking, wow, there's no big stage, which is named after Ronnie James Dio because he was meant to play in 2010, but then he ended up he passed away. I was like,
and I used to work for a venue here, one of the bigger venues here, and I was a production assistant back in the day, and I used to work for all the bands when they would come into town. And I'll never forget this too, because I'm a huge Dio fan. But I'll never forget it. Back then, I was like really mad because at the end of the night, I had to stay until like they
to clean up,
and then I had to take them back to their room and all this stuff. And I'm waiting, and Ronnie's out front, and he's just shaking every single person's hand. And he stayed until he met with every person.
Wow, legend.
I was mad at him because I wanted to go home. But now I think about it in a perspective of me being a musician in his spot, and it really overwhelmed me to where I thought, you know what? These fans are why he's here.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm here. Is the fans.
Yeah, that was it for me because when I played my gig with Herbicidal, I was like, are they here to see the band I'm in, or are they here to see me? Because a lot of people know me, and they're like, wow, Jake's a really nice guy. He's in a band. Let's go see his band. You know? I think a lot of people just go because, my mate's there. I go, oh yeah, I sometimes do that. My mate's playing in this band. But I go because I love the band as well. And like Dio, and when I start doing gigs and then eventually touring, I'm just going to stay until I see, like, if I can, just see every fan possible, just chat to them and everything. They want to ask questions and anything, I'll try my best to answer.
Right.
Sort of thing. I mean, the reason I love playing death metal and just metal in general, because it's an escape. It's I just shouted way too loud. Sorry, birds. Is an escape. It's it gets your anger out, like David Vincent said in the documentary. It gets your aggressions out. It's just filled with pure, honest emotion, which is anger. And I pretty much just listened to that and thought, yeah, definitely.
Well, and that's why the new record, that's why I kind of came up with the Suffer for Nothing theme, because I feel like it's something we can all relate to. You know, we've all suffered something in our life, whether it's small, big, you know.
If you lost your job, or you broke up with someone that you've been with for years.
Lost your car.
Lost your car. You broke, even if you broke your foot, it's like, even though that's a small thing, you broke your foot or something. And well, even if you just had a bad day at work or school or college or whatever hell it is.
Exactly.
For me, I'll be like, because I used to work on a farm, and I got annoyed with some of the workers there. Well, one was always a bit like pushy sometimes, but then I had to tell her, I was like, no, if you're going to just be like that, I'm not going to get the work done, so be a bit more patient. I just put on music, and then after that I was like, okay, I just completely forgot what the hell I was angry about, you know. Just like, but yeah, it's just that's what I love about death metal. It just gets your anger up. You know, even your head banging, or you're a fan, you're in the pit, your head banging, or you're on stage like you and Alex Webster, who I did meet when Cannibal Corpse played in Bristol 2 years ago. And I got a picture of Alex Webster and gave him a hug because he deserved it.
Nice.
Because he didn't mind. I asked him, can I give you a hug? And he's like, yeah, alright, man. He's just really nice. He chats to you like he's your best friend. Even if he knows you personally or not, he just chats to you like a friend.
Right. No, totally. I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I haven't like met him face to face in many, many years. But the last time I encountered with him, like you said, he was just super down to earth and very genuine.
Yeah, he's cool, and he's one of the main reasons I started playing bass a lot more. Well, him, Cliff Burton, Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. I think there's like my three main bassists. Oh no, wait, Geezer Butler.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Geezer's amazing. Geezer, very underrated bassist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very underrated.
Yeah, he's very underrated.
Very.
And well, because like when going back to death metal, so when people talk about death metal, obviously they mention Cannibal Corpse and Obituary and Suffocation and Morbid Angel, but then they tend to forget about like you guys or Rocktraval,
Sure.
Cyanide.
Well, you know what?
They tend to forget about those bands.
Right. Well, that's where it comes in, like Cannibal Corpse and those Obituary. They were the original.
The originals, yeah. And Death. Oh yeah, I've got to mention Death and Massacre.
Right. The first generation.
Yeah, you got the first generation, then you guys came in, and then there's.
Yep.
But you always get those fans in the underground who are like, I'm always gonna love Morta Skuld or Rocktraval or Cyanide or I'm trying to think of other bands.
No, I mean, dude, that's amazing that the fans are like that. Because, like I said, I meet a lot of fans too, where they're like, "Hey, I never heard of you before. We checked you out. We really like you," and so it's so we're still in that process too of gaining new fans that maybe never heard of us before.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know who you were until about 2008, 2009. I didn't know about you until like 2008, 2009. Me. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know who you were until I watched the YouTube.
Okay.
So I watched the guy Boss Metal talk about you on YouTube, show the album Surface. I was like, who's this band? How do you say it? And he said it. I was like, oh, okay. How do you say it again? And then, because sometimes when I try to learn new like words, I'm like, how do you say it? How do you pronounce it? Oh, I got to put on Google pronunciation or something. Oh, that's how you say it. Cool, thanks. But yeah, well, I will need to get ready for my other meeting soon. Just get everything prepared. But before we go, I'm gonna just ask you a few more questions and just not chat nonsense.
All right.
If people want to buy your stuff, where would they go? So,
if they're interested in buying the first 3 albums, which are all remastered and reissued, Wounds Deeper Than Time, or the new upcoming record, it would be theburningshed.com.
burningshed.com.
If anybody's interested in the Through the Eyes of Death, the compilation, that would be at Relapse Records.
Relapse.
And then Serving Two Masters, I don't think we have any left. I think they're all gone.
Fair enough.
And if somebody is interested though, you can contact Dread Records. I know that we are actually doing a cassette release with him later this year, and it's going to be Surface.
Nice.
/ Serving Two Masters. So people will still be able to get that probably later.
Yeah, because I need to get Surface as well, because I got the first 3 coming. Didn't see Surface on Burning Shed, so I thought...
Surface you might be able to get through... oh, crap, I can't think of the guy's name now.
I'm like that, I'm like, crap, where can you go?
No, he's a very popular guy. God, I can't... Lithuania music. I know they did the vinyl.
Alright.
I know they did the vinyl of that. So
yeah.
That Surface can be gotten through them.
That's
if you
cool.
Google it, or I can send. I find a link. I'll send.
Yeah, that helped, because me trying to find it, I've got this. Where is it? Where is it? Like, come on.
Sure. Yeah.
I get frustrated when I try to do that.
Yeah, LP would be the Lithuania guy,
Right.
and then the CD was done by God, I can't think of the guy's
when you find it, link it. I'll be like, let's buy it straight away.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Obviously, well, we all know you play guitar. Is there like a well-known song you can play very well on your guitar?
Is there what?
A very well-known metal song you can play on your guitar very well, note for note.
Oh, like somebody else's material?
Like someone else's material, yeah. Like, if they're like, what's your favourite song to play on guitar besides your own stuff?
None.
I
don't.
You don't play other people's stuff. That is fair enough.
No.
That is fair enough.
I don't. And sometimes I think like, man, I kind of maybe I should, just to learn some other stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I'm always so busy with my material, because when I'm not rehearsing with the band or at home,
yeah.
I'm trying to come up with new material.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
I really, what I do is I go to YouTube a lot, and I'll see like some guys that are saying like, hey, learn this scale, or hey, check this
Oh
out.
God, I cannot do that. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, and then I just go through them, but you know what? A lot of them, honestly, are even too technical for me sometimes.
I can't do that. I'm not a technical player. I look at your stuff and I look at death metal guitars and I can play that.
But what I do is I just take, like, I might see something in there that I can use, or something that might apply to me, and that's what I do.
That's a good way of looking at it,
yeah. I was doing a lot of YouTubing last year, getting ready for this record and stuff. I wanted to, I wanted to come up with some more interesting solos and stuff, so I was YouTubing a lot of different guys and just checking stuff out. But no, for the most part, I really don't play other people's material.
Okay. Oh, that's fair enough. Well, still the same question. What's your favourite song of your own you like to play?
Morta Skuld songs?
Yeah, like what's your favourite one you like to play the most? Or even if it's like
Presumed Dead.
Presumed Dead, yeah.
Dead off of Dying Remains.
That's a great
song
to
play.
That's a great song.
Yeah, I like playing that song, and I'm trying to think. Rotting Ways off of Dying Remains is fun to play too. If I had to go to Wounds Deeper Than Time, like Breathe in the Black, I like playing that song a lot. Pretty much it's one of those things where we try not to play, so like there are some songs that maybe one guy doesn't want to play and the other guy doesn't want to play, so sometimes we just kind of
because you got to compromise with the set list.
Right. Yeah, because there are some songs that I don't like to play because it could be either the vocals. Like I look back and go,
Oh
I
no.
never did the vocals here, and you know, stuff like that. Or I'm like, oh, I should have done this with the song, and so there are some songs where I'm like, you
Yeah.
know, the slower songs like Devoured Fears. I know it's been requested from us for a while,
Yeah.
and it's a slower song, and so we tend to try to pick more faster paced songs to play live, you know, to keep people's interest.
Yeah. I understand that.
You know, so yes, I mean those are the like I said, the classics. You know, another one I really like too, playing off of Surface,
Yeah.
by the way. Killing Machines.
Yeah.
Save Yourself is a good song. Anger in the Skies, we haven't played in 3 years.
Oh, okay.
We're thinking about bringing that back.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that live.
Yeah, that one's it's not super hard, but there's a couple of spots in there. Hitting that harmonic at the beginning is so damn hard. Like
yeah.
I'm glad Scott has to play that and not me, because I'm like I tried playing that years ago and it was so hard to get that like that is so hard.
Yeah. When I was hearing it, I was like, that's cool. The pitch on one a bit.
We played a song about 3 years ago and it sounded good, so I'm sure it'll make a return.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd love to hear that. Is there any plans of you guys playing the UK at any point once this is over? Like,
wow.
Is that in the works or not really yet?
No, the tour was supposed to happen on September 5th, starting with the Killtown Fest, I think in Denmark, I think
it's Denmark.
Anyway, so it was September 5th was supposed to start the tour.
Yeah.
We didn't have any UK dates as of yet. But we were hoping that next year we were hoping to make it into the UK for a couple of years.
Yeah, that'd be good. I don't care if I have to travel from Bristol to like London or something to see you guys. I'll do it. Yeah. Awesome. Appreciate that.
No problem.
So well, thank you for being a part of the first live stream of Jake's Metal Chat. I have been your host, Jake Bristow.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome. It was really my pleasure, Jake. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, just like Cam was saying before I decide to say goodbye, just spread the word about death metal and everything, because he's big on his death metal, as you noticed from his other streams he's been doing.
Sure.
Yeah, because he's.
I would just say, you know, if there's anybody out there that wants to communicate with us, you know, just go to our Facebook page.
There you go, people.
Give us a like or follow us there. I'm I think it's Morta Skuld 1 on Instagram.
Oh. Right.
So we're on there too.
I think I got you on Instagram.
We're on Reverb Nation. But mainly the Facebook page. I would say go there, check up for updates.
Yeah,
definitely. If anybody wants to send me messages, that'd be the place to send me.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Got my email and all that good stuff. So
yeah.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I thank the fans and people like yourself for helping us do what we do.
Yeah, I'm always going to help my metal brothers and sisters, no matter where they are. I help my mates here because my mate's band Embodiment released their album around the same time we released our album, and it's been doing really well. It's really great, like technical death metal is really great stuff. I'll actually send you a link to their band and some other Bristol bands as well.
Please,
because we got a big scene here, and if you came to Bristol and if people see your name, like my mate who's in the band I'm going to be talking to in a minute, in that local band, he'd be like, it sort of puts it on, it's like, yeah, get my mate's band, Die Holocaustum, to support Morta Skuld, because that'd be good. Or just get like 3 different Bristol bands, just put them with you guys, or any band for that matter. Any band that's like, oh, that suits the style. That'd be great.
I'm down.
Yeah, well, once this is all over, and then who knows, things will just pick up again. It'll just be like this. Oh, it's so boring at home. Boof! Oh, gigs! Right. Yeah, so thank you very much for taking the time to chat to me. I know there's a 6-hour difference with us.
No worries. I'm just going to head off and have some lunch.
Yeah, cool. Having a chat again soon. Maybe not live streaming, but,
Please.
Yeah,
please definitely keep in touch.
I'll keep in touch with you. I'll send some riffs over that I'm working on, and if you like anything from that, you more than welcome to take bits and pieces from that.
Very cool, very cool.
Help you out with music, you know. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a nice lunch.
All
have
right,
a nice
cheers.
day.
All right.
Stay well.
Cheers, mate.
Keep safe. Cheers, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace, man.
Thanks.
Bye. Well, that was the legend David Gregor from Morta Skuld, people. I hope you enjoyed that, because I've had to. I think I just abruptly ended the call. Sorry, David, if you are watching this. If I just went, yeah, bye. Like, sorry, didn't mean like that. Right, I'm gonna be getting ready for my next live stream. Hang on a minute, just get rid of the fucking. There we go. Yeah. Oh wow, that it's like an hour and a half. Just gone like an hour and a half there. Or 4 hours, something like that. Crap. Hang on. Oh, it's not on here. Oh yeah. Well, like I said, Cam was the one who does this for the Graw, and I thought I'll just give it a shot. Chatting to him was really great. It was really insightful. Learn everything learn everything from him. No, there's probably things a lot of people knew already, and then there's a lot of things like people didn't know. And I thought I'd just ask him different sorts of questions. I mean, I would love to do this a little bit more when it does ease up, and this pandemic does get a kick up the bum, but a kick up the arse. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I got how many likes did I get before I end it? Probably edit this part out, to be honest. Cool. Thanks for those actually tuning in. Thank you very much for that. Greg, I will talk to you about when we do our one. If you want to do it live stream, message me just privately, and we'll get back to you on that. And Simon, I know you're at work, but thank you for tuning in. When we watch it again, probably about this is like only see live. So I'm gonna get ready to talk to Dice on a costume. Probably saying it like really fast as I no, you're saying it wrong. And you know, thank you very much, guys. There will be more of these. I actually, speaking of Cam from the Graw, he's going to be on next Friday. Roughly the time I was just talking to Dave. Bit of technical issues with, I don't know, because of this is the first time I've done this, so I hope it went well. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back with another live stream soon. I'm gonna crack this open. Thanks a lot, guys. And stay safe.